Hello everyone, I'm Annie Gibbins and you're listening to Memoirs of Successful Women, the podcast where you get to hear candid conversations with fascinating women from around the globe who share aspects of their business and life journey, how they measure their success and what they have learnt along the way. So I'm delighted to introduce you today to Laura Rubin, who calls herself the Midlife Navigator. She's a midlife strategist, and I'm really excited to hear about Laura's journey to why has it been midlife that she's focused on working with women to navigate, and what are the biggest challenges. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from you today on our podcast, Laura.
Annie, I'm so excited to be here and really looking forward to sharing all about midlife and what it's all about and how to really rock it.
I love that. I love that energy. And a woman who's in midlife herself, I'm all about getting excited about the opportunities that come with midlife. And so tell me a little bit about yourself. What has led you to become a midlife navigator?
So as I went through life, I ticked off all the boxes: college, career, marriage, children, home, nice car, all the things that society models that this is your perfect life. This is what everybody is aspiring for. And on the journey, I was also a serial entrepreneur. I create a business. I'd do it for about 3 years. I'd get bored. I'd go back to corporate. I'd go in and out and in and out. And at 40, I lost my job, and I looked back at all the things that I had done and all the things that I had. And I realized there was a pattern. Like I said, about every 3 years, I get bored. I'm doing things that I'm good at, yet something was missing. Didn't know what that was, but something was definitely missing. And really all I was doing was taking my existing skills and what I was good at and just moving it to a different location, hoping that would give me the spark. And I realized at 40 that I was still not finding the spark. And I had this little nagging feeling. And so I decided that it was time for me to go on a journey and really figure out what was important to me and who I was more than what I was good at. And so I just started on this journey. And the first part of the journey led me to becoming a personal trainer, which was completely different than anything that I'd done. I'd worked in corporate, bookkeeping, bills, CFO, all of those things, all behind the computer. And so when it was brought up to me and I really enjoyed fitness, that maybe I should look at becoming a personal trainer, completely different. I thought, okay, that's it. It's completely different. I really love to work out, and that's what I'm going to pursue. So I pursued it. I made it 5 years, and then that nagging feeling. And I'm like, no, this was completely different. What is it? But I realized after further examination that there were parts of it that I really liked. I loved the teaching part. I loved the sharing. I loved watching people have those aha moments and realize that they could transform their body, transform their lives, and start feeling better about themselves. So I took that information and then continued on my journey to think, what else is there for me? If I strip away all these labels, mom, wife, personal trainer, all of those things, who was I at my core? And that's really when the journey started, because the personal training was more like, I'm going to jump into it and see. But then after that, when I realized, okay, that wasn't quite it either, then it was time to really sit back and dive into who I was, which took some time and took me out of my comfort zone.
What was the biggest stretch out of your comfort zone? I think you mentioned there that, who you are wasn't necessarily what you like. A lot of people go, but if I like it, isn't that who I am? So unpack that a little bit for me, and also share with me, well, what was your biggest stretch in that process?
So for me, it definitely was deciding I'm not going back to what I'm good at. Because that I knew what I was good at. I knew I could get a job doing what I was good at. I knew I could pay the bills, But I also knew that in three years in the personal training side, in 5 years, I'd get bored. And so for me, it was really taking the time and stepping back and realizing that what I was good at wasn't necessarily who I was. And then really stripping those away to where, what I knew of myself no longer, I said, okay, that doesn't apply anymore. That is not what I want to continue. So here I am sitting almost bare naked. Okay, what is it? What am I going to do? And then going on that journey to discover what that was. So just that first step of going, because there was a time that I was like, I should just go back to what I was doing. I'm good at it. I know I can get a job. I know I can just get clients. But it was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because I realize in 3 years, I'm going to be in the same place. And I'm getting older now. And, I am at a place where I want my last 40 years. I'm 56. I'm planning on 40. I want 40 more. I want my last 40 years to really count for me and for what I put out in the world.
I think you've just struck on an issue that I know that the women I coach and mentor have that same issue. Once you strip back the many hats, those labels but I'm a mum, that's who I am, or I'm a wife, or I'm a businesswoman, I'm an entrepreneur, like those positions or titles, most people think that is who they are. And then when you strip that out back, and you've just called it like being naked, right? It's so confronting to go, yeah, that's it. What if I actually don't like what's beneath? What if I don't know that? I don't know that person. Then that can be an extremely uncomfortable time, a vulnerable time, because you do feel totally exposed, and it's kind of like learning to know who your true self is. Why do you think it took you till you're 40? Why do you feel that those women that you now coach and mentor through this, why does it take us so long to get to this stage?
I think in the 20s, it's all about the career. It's all about getting that job. It's all, our focus is there. In the 30s, lots of time, it's family time. Now it's family time. We reach 40, and a lot of times there are life changes. Maybe we've lost a job. Maybe we've gotten a divorce. Our children are leaving the home. And all of a sudden, we're ready to focus on us. And I think that's just at that stage in our life, we're in a place where we're better able to focus on ourselves as well. We've done all the nurturing of everyone else. Now we want to nurture ourselves. And it's just kind of like, part of it has to do with our hormones. It's almost like the switch flips. And it's like, that's not enough anymore. That's not who I am. I want to find out who I really am. And I want to do something for me. I've spent all of this time doing something for everyone else, or what society modeled that we should, is the perfect life. And it's not working. It doesn't feel right. It's not enough for me. And I just think it takes that long, and it takes for us to have all those experiences that we are now wise enough to realize it's not enough. And I think we're at a place to actually accept that it's not enough, and maybe not feel so guilty about it that it's not.
Yeah, definitely over the years. And I feel this a lot now. I don't feel guilty. I go, you know what, your self-care and understanding yourself is the biggest priority, because then it makes you a better person, more rounded, more calm, more happy. And then you get the best out of everything that you do. But it took me a long time to get to that stage. I used to think if I took time out, it was like I was guilty about that. I had this default thinking that I should be, caring for my kids, cleaning something, helping someone, studying some more, doing something, always doing. And this default of being busy or not focusing on yourself is a really hard thing to get rid of, because of this sort of really weird, I call it, mummy guilt or whatever it is. And then when you suddenly crack it, that's it. And we all have those moments of those aha moments, and you go, you know what? It's like, I think it's actually okay to be investing in myself and finding out what really makes me tick. So I'd love to ask you a little bit more about What did you find in your growth that then gave you that, that the lack of boredom, the interest, the constant energy, the inquisitive nature? Because you've moved from now going, okay, I do things that I was good at and it paid the bills, but now I was searching for something that actually was sustainable, that excited me and kept me rejuvenated, if you like.
I was ready to be excited. I was ready to get up every morning and go, hit the ground running, and not hit the ground running because my to-do list was 20 items long. Hit the ground running because I was excited about what I was doing. And it's like that first step out of the comfort zone. And then you start feeling just a little bit better. It's like, oh, I like this path. And then you take that next step. Oh, I'm going even farther down the path, and I like this and I like that. You start learning what you want to say yes to, what you want to say no to. Mm-hmm. And it just, for me, it was the journey. And I realized it's not the end destination. The end destination is going to be awesome, but it's all the stuff that I'm learning and getting to do, getting off the hamster wheel, actually paying attention to what's going on around in my life, and enjoying when I go out in nature, enjoying my drive to the grocery store that I make all the time. I might notice something that I've never noticed before because I am finally stopping and paying attention and putting myself first. And it just, like I said, it's those small little steps, one thing at a time. And each little step gets you closer, and it makes you braver. Each time you do it, you get this bravery about you, and then you get this curiosity about you. Once you're super brave, you get this curiosity about, oh, what's next? What else is out there? It just kind of builds on each other.
Yeah. 100%, 100%. I've got that curious nature, and that's it. Every time you step out and go, oh, well, I'll just try something. And then that's right. You call it, bravery, and it builds your confidence, yes. That you just go, okay, well, that was good. And it was okay. I survived. I enjoyed it. What's next? And you go on this path of self-discovery and also mindfulness. I think you've tapped into that now, suddenly noticing things, even on your grocery run or whatever, that you can be out somewhere, instead of just doing and getting to the destination, you're actually stopping to explore and to celebrate what's in the journey.
Exactly. I actually, I do this for myself, and I ask my clients to do this as well. Just an exercise in, when you drive to the grocery store, and I use that as an example, try to find one thing you've never noticed before. Actually make a point of going and getting off autopilot and and pay attention. And so it's a great exercise. If you do the same drive every time, try a different route to get to wherever you're going, or pay attention to something, just find something on that route that you've never noticed before.
Yeah. 100%. And because there's so many things that we just do by default, aren't we? We're creatures of habit, and you don't even realize it, that you just, that's right, do the same, even exercising, do the same walks, or if you go to the beach, it's the same beach, that's right, mixing it up. And it's sort of weird that people go, I'm not uncomfortable, but they actually are, because they're defaulting to, something that's tried and tested. They know where to park, they know where it's going to go, they know the expectations, and it's in the unexpected moments that you grow the most. Do you agree? Yeah,
I agree. And I think that you build that bravery muscle, which you alluded to. When you do the one thing and it goes well, then you're more likely to take that next risk, or do that next thing that you may be uncomfortable about, because you're building your confidence as you go, you're building your bravery, and you're succeeding. So you start taking bigger risks, or you step more out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, so important. So please share with me, what are some examples of women that you've worked with who were going through those midlife struggles? What sort of issues did they have, and what were they able to overcome?
So I've had women, 6-figure incomes, that are unhappy with their job. And, they're at a point where, when they're unhappy with their job at 6 figures, it's hard to change. And I don't advocate, okay, just quit and go find something to do. So we work through, actually, we don't even really focus on the job. We focus on them. What is important to you? What are the things that you like? So I had this gal, 6-figure income, wasn't happy in her job. didn't know who she was. So we went back to the drawing board. We implemented self-care, physical, mental, spiritual. Then we worked on what are your strengths, what are your core values. And she started realizing who she was. And then she started understanding how could she bring who she was really to the job that she had so that she could enjoy it again. And it gave her a new perspective on this job. It gave her a new perspective and bravery to deal with her coworkers and her boss and really try to mold that job into more of what would satisfy her and make her happy. So that was a great transformation. And that didn't require her to quit and do something else.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting. I had another client when I started working with her. She just was so, everything was tainted with negative because she was so unhappy and dissatisfied. And then we went through that process of, again, stripping away everything and just giving her a grounding spot from which to grow. And I'd say in 3 weeks time, all of a sudden this person that I was talking to on the phone you could tell she just had a smile on her face and a skip in her step. And really it was just a matter of starting to realize that who she was important, yes, believing in herself, starting to take back her life and realizing that she had control and that she could take back her life and do things the way that she wanted to. Just changed her whole outlook. And when she changed her whole outlook, good things, her positive things started coming her way. She started getting along better with her husband. She started asking her husband for things that she needed and things that had been really bothering her around the house. They had great conversations. And so those started to change. She was having wonderful interactions at work, which she wasn't having before. So it was amazing just to watch in just a few short weeks, changing that mindset and starting putting yourself first. All this positive energy started. She cleared out the negative energy and all the positive energy started flowing because it had a place to go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's right. That energy fuels more energy. A lot of people say to me, that's right. Well, how come you've got so much energy all the time? I go, because I'm not anchored down by all that negativity. That negativity is so draining. It's just exhausting. You know, it's emotionally tiring. You're always focusing backwards. And therefore, I think then the default is to then, you mentioned it before, getting on that hamster wheel and just doing, you know. And that's right. When you actually get off that, and you also mentioned then getting that sense of control, you know, actually going, I'm a CEO of my life, you know, I'm in control here. This is me. This is who I am. And that's right. You don't have to go to a different place to find that. You actually just need to stop and pause and then become more, you know, self-reflective and go on, do some work to find your values and your strengths and find how you tick to be able to then incorporate that into, sometimes exactly like you shared with that first lady, to actually do what you do better, you know, to enjoy it more. And then sometimes it's a bit of a revelation, like I suppose you had, that's like, I'm not actually in the right space, you know, bookkeeping or whatever it is, I'm good at it, but it's not my love. I'm actually happier and thriving more when I'm in a different location, a different environment, being able to be able to continue to grow and thrive. Yeah.
And that's it. Every person is different. Yeah. Every person's journey, every person who they end up finding themselves to be, takes that information and uses it to the best of their ability. So you find out all those things, and then you create this life vision. What do you want to be in a year? Who do you want to be in 5? When you're 80 and you look back, what have you hoped you've done in the last, you know, from 50 to 80? So you've got this vision out there of who you're aspiring to be. And now your whole life can revolve around what it will take to get to that 1 year, 5 year, when I'm 80, looking back. The decisions that you make, what you say yes to, what you say no to. Now you've kind of got, like I said, you've got the big vision. You can create the roadmap to get to that big vision.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to believe in that vision. You have to believe that it's possible. I think, you know, a lot of people kind of go, oh, yeah, I've got this vision board. And then they go, but it probably won't happen. You go, you got to believe it, right? If you put it out there to the universe, you know, it's sort of like this accountability framework and also just strong belief that go, yeah, like all things are possible. It might not be possible immediately, but I'm setting myself up that I'm on a journey to be getting closer and closer to those goals that are important to me, which is exactly what you've demonstrated. What do you think are the biggest challenges to people being able to take these big, brave steps?
I think thinking they have to do it by themselves,
Mm.
feeling overwhelmed because they don't know which way to go first. So they don't even know where to start. So they don't start because it just seems so overwhelming to just take that. And a lot of times I think people think from getting A to D, but they don't know what B, C, and what B and C are. So they just feel like they have to make these huge steps when actually you take A1, A2, A3,
Yeah.
you're taking these
Yeah.
baby steps, but they don't see it. And so they get overwhelmed, and again, they don't have anybody alongside them, whether that be a friend, a family member, a coach, a mentor, anyone. Doing it on your own is difficult. And that was one of the reasons that I got into this, is because I wanted to be able to mentor women and stand beside them and help them go on the journey, because that is what brings me joy. So
Yes.
those things, I think you don't know where to start. Sometimes you have so many ideas, you don't know where to start. Sometimes you have no ideas and you don't know where to start. So it all ends with, we really don't know where to start. Or we think we're too old. We think it's too late. I hear that a lot. I have women actually feel guilty because I had one woman specifically say to me, I'm 52 and I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and I feel guilty. And I think, how sad. You are exactly where you need to be, because this is the perfect time for you to figure out what you want to be when you grow up.
Oh, absolutely. I've been working with a number of women now in exactly that same age group, which is my age group. I'm 52. Yeah. I go, you're at the perfect age group to become an entrepreneur now. You have all this experience, so it's finding an area or just going off and following your passion in a different way. It's never too late. In fact, that lifelong learning and experience, and now intuition, expertise in certain areas, there's so much that it makes it a perfect time in midlife to actually get equipped, get skilled, get supported, and then really start enjoying this time.
I would agree. I think I am in a much better place now than when I was in my 20s to really take the time and figure it out and do it, not right. I'm going to put right in quotes because there is no right or wrong way, but I'm ready. I'm in the best place to really make the last 40 years the best.
For those women that you work with, what do they describe success as? This podcast is Memoirs of Successful Women. So what does success look like to them, do you think?
For them, I think it means feeling comfortable in their own skin, not having that nagging feeling that something's missing. I really don't think it's a number. It's not a number in your bank account. For them, it's feeling whole. It's feeling like they're heard and seen and contributing and a connection to family, friends, other women. Those are all the important things for women, I think, at this stage.
And what does success feel like to you? So you're a successful woman. What does it feel like? What do you go, yeah, I'm successful? What does that
for me
feel like?
It just means waking up and feeling comfortable in my own skin and understanding that no matter what, I can do it. I've got the strength and the confidence and the bravery to handle whatever, just say, such as this COVID, which has turned everybody's life upside down, including my own. And yet I have the resilience and the wisdom to handle it, and I think handle it well.
Great advice. And so how do you, at midlife, we've learned to become resilient, right? So what about those women who go, yeah, well, that's all right for you. You're in your 50s now. You've learned a lot and you're tough. What about those women who are getting those first setbacks now in their 30s and 40s? What's your advice to them to develop that resilience and just to keep going in these challenging times?
I think just like for my clients in midlife, you have to start with the self-care piece and the self-awareness piece. I think that you have to take time for yourself, both physically, movement, nutrition, out in nature, mentally, learning to set boundaries, learning to get rid of the toxic relationships or the toxic workplace. And then spiritually, meditation, journaling, going within. I think that is the foundation, no matter what age you are, to setting yourself up for success, whatever that looks like. Because because it means you're taking time for yourself, and you're a much stronger person when you come first in your life.
Yes. You've mentioned before I've got obviously a strong love of fitness and health. How is that? How important is that? Do you feel? When people look at balance in their spiritual mindset, that sort of thing, the component of healthy lifestyle. How strong a focus do you think that should be?
I think it should be super strong. And it does not mean that you have to go to a gym. It does not mean an exercise program. It means, to me, it's movement. It's walking, it's hiking, it's camping, it's swimming, it's playing tennis. It's whatever you enjoy, but it's getting out there, because when we move the energy. We move the negative energy, we increase our positive energy, and at the same time, we're burning fat, we're gaining muscle, we're increasing our heart rate and our heart strength. So it's got a lot of physical benefits, but I think it has a ton of mental benefits as well.
Oh, yeah. And those natural endorphins that just kick in.
Yes.
It's just amazing, isn't it? So
Yes.
that's just changed my life, walking in nature over the last, 5 to 10 years. It's just the benefit. I used to think, oh, well, I don't have time to go out. And then now I come back, if I've done, even if it's, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, a walk or hike, you come back and go, oh, it's the best decision. It's always the best decision.
Yes.
It's amazing how something can be like, oh, I don't know if I have the time. And then after you do it, you go, oh my gosh, best thing I did today was going for that walk. And that's it. It's that combination of being out, ideally, a little bit sort of remote in nature, but even just, that's right. Even moving, you don't have to be jogging and sweating. It's just moving. And if you can take someone with you, it's that connection as well that we were talking about. So important. And just doing that. Yeah. Feeling your body, staying toned and being healthy. It's actually valuing it. I think it's got a strong connection to me for valuing your body, for the body that, and it's part of being comfortable in your own skin and going, okay, well, if I want to do all these things, I need to invest in myself as well. It's so complicated.
Well, it was interesting in my personal training journey. I had this idea of what my ideal client would look like. 25, 35-year-old women, wanted to really work out because I love to strength train, that kind of thing. And if I didn't have all of my clients who I absolutely love, 50 and over, all coming to me for health and well-being because they wanted to continue climbing that mountain, skiing, doing all of those activities. So, it was just like the first step in my journey to working with women in midlife, because every single one of my clients were 50 or older. And that was not planned. They just came to me that way. And I absolutely adore them. And so it just kind of, like I said, my journey started there and just led me into the actual coaching part of things.
So tell me and the listeners about your coaching. How do people find you? What do you offer? How can they benefit from your type of service?
You bet. You can find me on the web at lauramarierubin.com. I offer one-on-one coaching, which is a 12-week program. I take women what I could call on a midlife adventure. Nice. And we start with some of the things we talked about, self-care and then self-awareness. We work on a vision. We work on, actually, after we have that vision, it doesn't do us much good if we're not taking action. So then we create the roadmap and then we start taking action. And it's a 12-week program. And I find for the most part, my women have made huge transformation just in that 12-week, just in the beginning part. And then I will, if they would like me to, I stand next to them for another, however long they'd like me to do on that journey. But most of my work is all done one-on-one. And like I said, you can find me at lauramarierubin.com. I also have a Facebook group called Midlife Revolution, and it's a group of women all in midlife, and we share stories, I share interesting articles, and I do some teaching on there as well.
Fantastic. I think that's great. And women from all over the world can therefore meet up with you. So
yes.
fully online.
Yes, everything is online, and I love it. I love the opportunity that we're not, constrained by the city that I live in or the state that I live in. I can have clients from all over the country, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I know, that's right. I work in a global environment. It's just like the way you and I have met just online. Yes. And it's so great that there are no limits. And particularly that's been a positive thing of COVID, that suddenly we thought we had to be limited in our areas. And now it's like, yep, just do whatever, whether it's coaching or running your business. Realize that you're in a global environment and there's definitely people out there for you. So terrific. Well, it's been fantastic chatting with you today. I've certainly had a good reminder that it's really important to just sit back and relax in this midlife stage, and to just constantly refocus and then work towards our goals. Really important. And I think you've given some really great examples which will encourage other women. If you're feeling stuck, ladies, I think that's what is going from feeling stuck for all the reasons that you get stuck, that's right. You've got too many ideas, no ideas, don't know what your next role is. Maybe you should strip those roles back, find more about yourself, start investing time and energy and resource into your own self and your own health and your own, balance. All of these things are 100% possible. And actually midlife is a great time to be doing that, because often you've had one of those moments. You've had one of those aha moments of, oh my gosh, I've just lost my job, or suddenly my kids have moved out of home. Someone's, got married. I'm at that next stage, or I've just become a grandma, or all sorts of stuff. It suddenly makes you realize, oh, I'm at this next juncture, and what does that mean? What does it mean? Not just for the next thing you're going to do, but that actually is who you're going to be at this next stage. And so I think we're so aligned in this space. So terrific. All righty, well, thank you so much for coming on my program today.
Oh, it was so much fun. Thank you. I love talking everything midlife.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Memoirs of Successful Women. You can find me at anniegibbins.com, where you can download my free resources, get connected on social, and check out my online magic transformation program. If you love this show, feel free to subscribe to future episodes, and of course, share it with your friends. I'll see you again soon, and until then, happy podcasting.